Mr. Builderman himself, Dave Bazooki. No, not the real one, the Roblox avatar version. The most well-known figure in the Roblox universe, Builderman has been dragged into Forsaken with his ability to build sentries and dispensers to support his team during chases. He is currently one of the best support or survivalist survivors in the game. His entire kit is basically the engineer from TF2, and since he is one of the easiest survivors to master, a lot of people main him. And with that, of course, comes plenty of stereotypes about his skins. Now, before we start, let me remind ourselves, this video is just for fun and laughs, so it should not be taken seriously or personally. Every stereotype has its own exception. And now, with that out of the way, let's get right into it. These guys have some knowledge of the game and decided to buy Builderman because, well, he's Builderman. They probably expected him to have his banhammer like in the Roblox Until Dawn, but nope, all he has is a sentry and a dispenser. They tend to place their sentries in the weirdest spots, like in the middle of the bridges at your resting place or under the castle of Brandonsword. They get confused when their sentry explodes after placing another, and they always put their dispensers right out in the open, like, dude, just hide it. You probably prefer simple avatars, and so that's why you use the skin. Anyway, people who brought this skin either had some spare change left after buying Builderman or just prefer his modern design. These guys are a total coin flip. They're either great Builderman players who knew exactly where and where not to place their sentries and dispensers, or absolute goobers who barely use their gadgets and only set them up when their teammates beg them to. They struggle with looping and always to decide to construct a sentry while the killer is literally rushing at them. Okay, I respect the reference to TF2, but honestly, this skin might just be the weakest when it comes to capturing that true Christmas vibe. It feels more like a skin for collectors rather than someone genuinely embracing the festive spirit. Anyway, these players are usually the ones who want to snag every limited time skin, and their gameplay tends to be a bit of a coin flip. On one hand, they might be experts who know exactly where to place their builds, and they're absolutely masters when it comes to looping killers and dodging danger. On the other hand, they might just rush into the killer spawn without thinking and end up getting chased, beaten down, and eliminated within the first minute of the match. These players are starting to show real improvement with Builderman. They've learned how to place their sentries in strategic spots, creating excellent areas for looping and invading the killers. Their dispensers are now hidden in more obscure locations, making it harder for the killers to find and destroy them. It's clear they're becoming more tactical, which is a great sign of process. However, they still make some key mistakes. For one, they often fail to scan the area first to check if it's safe before placing a building down. This leads to some risky placements that can easily backfire. They also tend to hit obstacles in the loop, which results in getting cornered and killed. And despite their progress, they still tend to build a sentry when a killer is charging straight at them, which usually ends in a disaster. Like, just don't do it, dude. Okay, these players think they're being all stealthy by wearing a skin with a darker shirt. But do you realize that white bones are basically a walking glowing beacon? You're not exactly blending in when your ribs are screaming, "Look at me!" from under that black shirt. But hey, let's give credit where it's due. These players prefer to play the sneaky route. They're masters at hiding their dispensers in spots where neither the killer nor their fellow survivors can spot them. And when it comes to sentries, they're putting them in the looping areas that make it nearly impossible for anyone to notice. Good move and actually very tactical. They're also the type to keep keen eye for Boxy Cola just in case they're spotted and might need them for a quick getaway. You can always count on them to have a backup plan, so while their stealth might need a little work, their strategy is on point. Just maybe reconsider the glow-in-the-dark ribcage next time. The classic corner camper. These guys love to huddle in maps with the most remote corners, hoping the killers will just overlook them, but somehow they still get found every time. I wonder why. Oh, I know. Maybe it's because your sentry is literally glowing and screaming, I'm right here, like a neon sign. Like it's right in your freaking open, buddy. You're not really hiding at that point. Okay, sorry. At least try to make it actually harder for the killers to spot your sentry, so you have the fighting chance to hide or, actually escape. Hiding in open with a sentry blurring its position, it's not the stealthy move you think it is. Maybe try tucking that thing into a better spot next time, and then you'll actually have a chance to run away. Not just stand there waiting to get chased down by the killers. If you understand the reference behind the skin, congratulations, you deserve a special discount. Not redeemable anywhere, but still. Players who use the skin tend to be very vocal when it comes to support. The second someone breathes the words, I need a dispenser, they're already in tag taping. It's placed, go to this location here. Because of course, they had the foresight to deploy one long before anyone asked. But their real specialty, disrupting chases. If a survivor is being hunted down, they don't just sit back and watch. They immediately type in the chat, hey, over here, there's a sentry that can help you escape. And guide the survivor, and by extension, the killer, straight to it. And guess what? It works. The sentry slows down the killer, buys time for the survivor to break chase, and gives the team a much needed breather. Overall, these guys are fantastic teammates. They communicate, they plan ahead, and they always have an escape strategy if you need it. If you see one in your match, stick with them, and they'll probably save your life at least once or twice. These players are starting to get the hang of things. They're much more aware of their surroundings, scanning the area before placing down any buildings instead of just plopping a sentry in the middle of nowhere. They've also developed a keen eye for boxy colors because nothing says strategic retreat like a well-timed speed boost. At this stage, they finally understand the difference between a good sentry spot and a bad one, which means their placements are way more effective than back in Milestone 1. They're thinking ahead, making strategy decisions, and setting up defenses that actually help the team. But despite all this progress, one thing hasn't changed. They still can't loop properly. The moment the killer catches them off guard, it's game over. They panic, trip over obstacles, or take the worst puzzle path and get eliminated instantly. So, while their building skills have leveled up, their survival instincts still need some work. For some reason, 80% of the time, if you see one agent skin in a match, there's always another one, right there with them. I don't know why, it's like they spawn in pairs. Anyway, these players either just really like the skin, or they're in a Discord call with their squad, meaning they're going to be painfully coordinated. If you see an agent, you can almost guarantee there's an agent Chance, Guess, Builderman, and 07 and 7 lurking around somewhere, all working together like a well-oiled machine. The one thing you won't see out too often, Elliot. For whatever reason, they rarely pick them. So, if you ever need to break their coordination, here's a pro tip. Take out their Builderman first. Their whole setup will fall apart faster than their teamwork in a horror movie. And suddenly, that coordinated squad will start scrambling. Bob is just, well, Bob. Honestly, there's not much else to say. These players are absolute goobers, in the best way possible. 80% of the time, they're just here to have a good time, running around with zero stress and making the game feel way less sweaty. And if they end up as the killer, oh, don't worry, Bob will be the nicest murderer you've ever met. They'll probably let the people go, help survivors escape, or just vibe in a corner, like it's a casual hangout instead of a life or death situation. If you see a Bob in your match, consider yourself lucky, you're in a for a wholesome game. Okay, so according to the script here, I'm just supposed to insert that one meme of the old guy saying, how do you do, fellow kids? Okay, sure, here it is.
How do you do, fellow kids?
At this point, the players have basically evolved to eagles, constantly scanning the area for any sign of danger. Their awareness is off the charts, and their sense of hearing, impeccable. The second they hear even the faintest layer one of a killer's chase team, yes, even Jason's, they're gone. No hesitation, no second guessing, just pure survival instincts, kicking at max speed, just out of that place. Compared to Milestone 2, their skills have improved a lot. They now know how to loop properly, meaning they're no longer tripping over obstacles and dying instantly. Instead, they're confidently leading killers in circles wasting their time, and making them regret ever picking a chase. These players have officially entered their pro era. At this state, yeah, they'll be hitting the top tier stress status in no time, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, if any of you doesn't know what BOSD stands for, it stands for Blue Screen of Death. You know, that terrifying screen that pops up when your PC decides to completely give up on life? Anyway, thanks to the unique property of the skin, where the face changes depending on what emoticon you type in chat, so players who rock BSOD tend to be surprisingly chill. They're usually just vibing, messing around with different expressions, and looking like they don't have a care in the world. But don't let that fool you, these guys know what they're doing. They understand the difference between a good and bad sentry spot, so killers can just waltz in and just take them out easily. They might look laid back, but when it comes to strategy, they're no joke. So if a killer underestimates them, they're in for a rude awakening. So just like Retro, Elite, and Noob, this skin is heavily associated with tryhards. These players are scarily good at juking and looping killers, and they always know the best place to set up their sentries and dispensers. The moment the round starts, they're already sprinting to the nearest generators, completing it in record time like they're speedrunning the whole game. If you see someone rocking this skin with a high win rate, congratulations! You just found the perfect support teammate. They'll carry the team, even making clutch plays, and probably save your life at least once. But if you're a killer and up against these guys, yeah, good luck. You're going to need it. These guys are just tryhards who want to spice things up by giving themselves a challenge. I mean, what's better way to test your skills than by wearing a skin with a giant sign that basically screams, "Oh no, you saw me, come get me!" And honestly, it works. They want the killers to chase them just so they can flex their juking and looping skills. For them, it's not just about surviving, it's about styling on the killers while doing it. Yeah, that's all. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm sure you all recognize the reference here. Yes, it's the engineer from TF2. You unlock the skin by keeping your dispenser alive for 1 or 2 minutes in a match. Just like how the engineer in TF2 spends 80% of the time chilling by the dispenser, building up their little fortress. Huh, interesting. Anyway, these players are a bit of a coin flip. On one hand, they could be total professionals, placing sentries in the most strategic spots, like the perfect looping area, or on top of a ramp to slow down killers, making it almost impossible for them to break through. On the other hand, you get the true TF2 engineer experience. These guys will just set up a nest and then sit there, guarding it like the last line of defense, only leaving when they are forced out by killers' chase. So if you run into one of these players, just know they either have the perfect plan or they've locked themselves into a cozy little spot and hope for the best. At this point, you have become an absolute master. You know all the best spots to place your sentries and dispensers, you've perfected the art of looping and juking, you've memorized all the general spawn locations, and you know exactly where all the consumable spawns to take full advantage of them. You're basically a walking, talking survival guide. But let's be honest here, Builderman mains, you barely use the skin. Why? Well, because if a skilled killer spots you rocking the Milestone 4 Builderman skin, they're 99% likely to target you first. Why? Because they know you're a threat. You're going to be a huge nuisance to them in chases, so they'll make sure to take you out early, knowing that you'll be a bigger problem later. So yes, Milestone 4 Builderman does exist. It's just in the world of experienced killers, no one really wants to use it unless they're feeling extra confident because they know they'll be on the killer's hit list 24/7. Okay, we finally got to the end of the video. So yeah, if you're wondering why I didn't do guest 1337 and instead do Builderman instead first, I put up a community post on my, community tab asking if I should do the Stereotype first before the Milestone skin came out, and all of you seems to want me to wait out for the Milestone skins to come out before doing it. So yeah, if that's why you're asking me on why I'm doing Builderman first, that's the answer. So anyway, yeah, On my future Stereotype videos, I'm gonna wait out for the new milestone skins or the milestone skins for each character to come out first, then do it then I'll do it. So in my next video about the Stereotype, I'll be talking about John Doe. So comment what's your experience and your thoughts on facing or playing as John Doe for the next video. I'll see you all in the next video. And remember, this video is just for fun and laughs. These Stereotypes have some exceptions. And remember to not stir up drama in the comment section. Like, really, guys, like, please don't stir up a drama, please. So yeah, goodbye.